Everyone, I'd like to call the Planning Commission meeting for August 7th to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gonzalez, Commissioner Moody, Commissioner Timmons, Vice Chair Esparza, Chair Weisenberger.
Here. I'd like to make a motion to excuse Commissioner Gonzalez.
So moved.
Do we have a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Excuse Commissioner Gonzalez. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Moody, Commissioner Timmons,
Yes.
Vice Chair Esparza, Chair Weisenberger.
Yes. Okay, well, approval of minutes from July 3rd. Need a motion to approve, please. Okay, it's been moved. Do we have a second?
Second. Timmons.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Moody, Commissioner Timmons,
Yes.
Vice Chair Esparza, Chair Weisenberger.
Yes. Okay, agenda item number 2, reorganization.
Okay, and for this item, this is what we do every year, and I'm going to hand it over to our acting administrative assistant, Biana Salgado, to introduce this item.
Right. Good evening, Honorable Planning Commission. Nominations are now open for Planning Commission Chair. Are there any nominations?
Like the second.
All right. Any further nominations? There being no further nominations, nominations are now closed. When called, please indicate your choice for chair by stating the last name of the commissioner you wish to vote for. Commissioner Esparza. Commissioner Moody. Commissioner Timmons.
Weisenberger.
Commissioner Weisenberger.
Weisenberger.
Congratulations, Chair Weisenberger. Okay. All right, and would you like to open, Chair, for nominations for Vice Chair?
Oh, yes, thank you. Okay. I'd like to open nominations for Vice Chair.
Timmons?
Okay, and then I'll second that.
Okay, one moment.
Do you have any other nominations? Okay, nominations are closed then. Roll call.
All right, Commissioner Esparza. Commissioner Moody. Commissioner Timmons. Chair Weisenberger.
Timmons.
Congratulations, Vice Chair Timmons.
Okay, very good. All right. John, do we have any public comments tonight at this point?
Yes, we do. We have one speaker card, Leticia Vasquez Wilson. And Ms. Wilson, there's a button on the, thank you.
Good evening. Congratulations, Mr. Chairman and Dr. Timmons, Vice Chairman. My name is Leticia Vasquez Wilson. I am your representative, your new representative on the Central Basin Municipal Water District Board of Directors. And just wanted to introduce myself and leave a little bit of information about who we are and what we do. The Central Basin Municipal Water District is a water wholesaler. We actually represent a region that spans over 26 cities and unincorporated parts of LA County. We recently redistricted, so Paramount is new to my district. And I represent also a half of Downey, Linwood, Southgate, and portions of Compton. I'm a former council member in the city of Linwood. I currently reside in the city of Carson, which is the portion of the Central Basin Service area that is in my district. So I, in addition to being a water wholesaler, we sell imported water to cities that our agency gets from the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, which I've also served on that board for about 6 years. And we get our water from the Colorado River and also the State Water Project. And that's where Central Basin gets its water. We also sell recycled water to the city of Paramount so that it can irrigate its medians, its parks, and other public facilities. If you'd like to learn more about the agency, feel free to give me a call. I'm going to leave you one of my business cards, also a brochure about what we do, and some information about our water conservation programs. Over the years, we have been very aggressive in helping people finance water conservation in their homes, including the removal of their grass and replacing it with drought-tolerant plants. Not sure if you heard of our program, but we called it the Turf It Out program, and also helping finance the washing machines and other water devices in residential facilities, so that individuals can, again, be more water-wise and be more responsible as they use their water in their homes. So I will leave this information for you. And again, if you have any questions, you can feel free to give me a call. I'd love to sit down with you and share a little bit more about what we do, and hope to invite you on some of our water education tours that we do to the State Water Project. We host these annually, and also to the Colorado River. As soon as we get the dates booked, I'll make sure to come out and give an invitation to the commissioners and any staff member that may be interested in attending and learning more about how we bring our water from the various places to into our communities. So other than that, water is life. Please conserve. Thank you.
Thank you. John, we have any old business, John? Any old business from last time?
Yes, so we'll begin with a few months ago, or several months ago, we had an application, a conditional use permit application from Alas Kitchen and Bar. The Planning Commission continued the item 1 month, and then the next month removed the item from the calendar. And a few reasons. Well, the main reason was that we needed more time. We received some new information about some possible public safety issues, so we needed some time for the Public Safety Department and the Sheriff's Department to look into this a little further. And they did. They concluded their investigation. And at this time, Assistant Planner Leslie Corrales, she'll return with a presentation with a approval recommendation.
Good evening, Honorable Chair and members of the Commission. Today I'll be presenting on conditional use permit number 954 for Alas Kitchen and Bar. And this is a request to allow the expansion of an existing alcoholic beverage sales for on-site consumption to include distilled spirits. The address is 15516 Paramount Boulevard, Suite B. The zone is C3 for general commercial. The site size is 7,500 square feet. And the shared building is 4,498 square feet. And the suite size that Alas Kitchen and Bar occupies is 1,287 square feet. This is a view of the subject site located on the southeast side of Paramount Boulevard and Jefferson Street. The red outline is the property line, and the blue highlight is where Alas Kitchen and Bar is located. So a little bit of background on this property. In 2002, the Planning Commission approved CUP number 522, which allowed the previous operator, Los Plebes Mexican Restaurant, the sale of beer and wine for restaurant use. In 2015, the business Alas Kitchen and Bar began to operate, and in 2016, It was licensed to serve beer and wine for customers to drink inside the premises. And now in 2024, the applicant is looking to upgrade their license to include distilled spirits, which we also refer to as an ABC Type 47. The proposed business hours are Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., Friday and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. No alcohol would be allowed to be served outside of the building, and that is something that we currently hold to standard for the beer and wine sales as well. And Allah's Kitchen and Bar has no proposed live entertainment. This is the site plan of where Allah's Kitchen and Bar is located, and as you can see, it is a shared building with Kathy's Bakery to the left or to the north, and to the rear there is additional parking for both businesses. Here is the provided floor map that designates where the kitchen is located in the center of the building, with the dining area located to the front and an office area and break room for employees towards the back of the suite. This is what the suite currently looks like from the outside, from the front. And as you can see, the neighboring businesses are Kathy's Bakery to the left and LA Market to the right. And this is our public safety review. So the item was removed from the agenda at the request of the applicant on May 1st, 2024 for that planning commission. On April 29th, 2024 for the city council meeting. Public comments were made by residents at the city council meeting, which launched an investigation by public safety. During our public safety review, public safety, along with law enforcement, reviewed complaints and calls during intervening weeks, and no violations or negative impacts were found. Public safety also followed up with residents. In August of 2024, residents no longer have concerns about approval and stated that Allah's Kitchen and Bar activity has improved. The applicant will follow a 6-month planning commission review, so from you guys in 6 months, as soon as from when they begin selling distilled spirits. And our analysis is that the subject is located in the central business district and that it is compatible with our surrounding businesses in the area, and it is also adequate in size and location. And we do recommend adopting resolution number 24005 for conditional use permit number 954. And if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer. And we also have the applicant in the audience in case he wants to step in and answer as well. Thank you.
Any questions from our commissioners here?
No, nothing outside of the internal of the area, the restaurant.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening. You must be the applicant.
I am, yes.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Any questions there? Okay. And we need to open the public hearing portion of our meeting tonight. Have we got any public comments?
No comments.
Okay, no comments tonight. And I guess we'll make a motion to close the public hearing portion. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to close the public hearing. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Esparza, Commissioner Moody, Vice Chair Timmons,
Yes.
Chair Weisenberger.
Yes. It doesn't look like we have any questions for you, sir. Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we will consider a motion to adopt Planning Commission Resolution 24005 to approve this request to expand the existing alcohol beverage sales for on-site consumption to include distilled spirits. Can we get a motion to approve, please?
Timmons, so moved.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Esparza, Commissioner Moody, Vice Chair Timmons,
Yes.
Chair Weisenberger.
Yes. Okay, agenda item number 4, new business. This is a zone change, number 224. It's a request by Paramount Gateway LLC to change the official zoning map from the planned development with performance standards where the lumber yard and hardware store was to change that to commercial to allow a supermarket and 3 restaurants. at 15101 Paramount Boulevard. A mitigated negative declaration pursuant to California Quality Act guidelines will be considered. Okay, we have a staff report.
Yes, we do. And just to also add, it's kind of a three-in-one application. So in addition to the zone change you mentioned, Commission Chair, there's also a tentative parcel map application and a conditional use permit application. So we'll be hearing them all together. We've kind of packaged it all for the Planning Commission, and will be a complementary application for the Development Review Board as well for the design aspect. So yes, so we are actually, the city is actually really excited about this project. This is bringing us a Sprouts Market and a couple other or three other businesses. It's at the heart of the town, so it's at the the crossroads, Paramount Boulevard and Somerset, replacing Lindsay Lumber. So Lindsay Lumber has a long history. As you may know, they celebrated their 100-year anniversary this year. So they've been in town for decades. They've been at this location since the 1980s. They are moving to Chino Hills, so they will remain in business. So this is kind of a win-win for everybody. And as property owner, the family has decided to move on. So now we have a new property owner with this proposal. So I'll kind of walk you through it. The applicant is Paramount Gateway LLC, and they may be branding the development Paramount Gateway. It's nice, has a nice ring to it. So with the zone change, so that would replace the existing zoning, which is very precise. Right now, the only thing that's allowed is a lumber yard or lumber mill and a hardware store that's been on the books since the 1980s, and replace that with a new commercial zone kind of tailored to this to allow for a supermarket, the Sprouts, and these three restaurants. So that first zone change, it's a recommendation that to the city council that they would take up probably next month. The second application is the tentative parcel map. So what that is subdividing the site into three properties, one for each of the buildings and the associated parking lots. There's actually two properties. The main one in a very small sliver on the west side, and I'll kind of show you where that is. We're actually recommending that you continue just this portion of the proposal to the September Planning Commission meeting, and you have on the dais a new report that was not included in your binders. So we'll get to that as well. And then the third portion, again, the CUP, that will allow for the in conjunction with the zone change, the restaurants with drive-through, and those two have an indoor seating area and an outdoor seating area. And then the third restaurant does not have a drive-through, but they have an indoor and outdoor seating area. So this next slide shows the site itself, so outlined or shaded in this blue color. It's a well-known site. North is Somerset, south is Adams. To the east is Paramount Boulevard, running north and south, and opposite that is Colorado Avenue. 3.3 acres. So almost the entire block, but there are 4 residential properties that have remained for kind of reasons lost to history. They did not fold into the Lindsay Lumber project in the 1980s. Interestingly enough, they still remain zoned. They're in a manufacturing zone, so they're legal non-conforming homes. And some photos. So at the top is the view looking south from Somerset. So you see the Ace Hardware is what it became, and then to the right you'll see the kind of the lumber mill and the areas where contractors will come and pick up their materials. On the bottom left, that view is from Adams, looking north at that alley. So the alley serves the property. It's a public alley, but it also right now it has access to on the left on this side, which would be the east side of that residential property, has access to one of the garages. So it needs to remain to have access for the residents. And then the bottom right, that's a view looking southeast at the property from Colorado and Somerset. So again, built in the 1980s. And this might be a lot to take in. It's actually the same site, just two different views. On the left is the proposed site plan, so you can see the three buildings. And I'll speak to that in a moment, but just so you know what's going on here, the middle, the color view is just to show the three properties. So that the top is the parcel 1, this L-shaped property is parcel 2, and the third is at the bottom right. So to walk you through it, the highlight here, the anchor tenant you could say would be the Sprouts Market, which is building 1, 23,104 square feet. So it's a typical size market for a Sprouts Market. And then at the north you'll see it marked as building 2. That would be 2 suites, 2 adjacent restaurant suites. The one at the north has the drive-through, and you can see the cars stacked up there. That is a 12-car drive-through. 6, yes, 12-car. In the south is the tenant 2, which at this point it's kind of an undisclosed tenant or officially undetermined tenant, and they would have indoor and outdoor seating. Bottom right, so that is a kind of a coffee shop, bakery, restaurant, and actually you'll see the logos in a moment, so it's not entirely like unclassified or secret, but we'll show you that. But you can see there's a drive-through that kind of forks at the end, so you have a 6 that can support 16 cars. And there's some data on the right we can refer to if you have any specific questions. So there's you can see there's plenty of parking. It would be completely redeveloped, new parking lot, new landscaping, nice new landscaping. The entrances to the driveways would all have a decorative feature, so be it either a stamped and stained concrete feature or more likely a decorative interlocking pavers type of feature, which is good for water infiltration to meet some other requirements. So moving on to the how does it look? So at the top is the Sprouts. So pretty typical for Sprouts. It has that nice color. Someone tell me what this color is. But it's outstanding. Just really pops from the rest of the tan. So you know what the entrance is. It has that nice height. At the peak height, it's 38.5 feet. But for the most part, it is a 26-foot 8-inch height. And there's a little canopy at the front. So the middle view, that is the northernmost proposed building, which would be off Somerset. So you can see it says Panera Bread. So, let me step back. There is officially a signed lease for Sprouts. So Sprouts is 100% official. They just need to build it and operate it. The other tenants do not have signed leases yet, but you can see by designating it as Panera, that's very promising, and they're almost there. So you can see the mix of materials. These are not very boxy, which is what we try to see. Varied materials, varied awnings, varied heights, and concealing utilities like the mechanical equipment on the rooftop. By the way, they all have solar panels as well, so a lot of sustainability features we'll get more into. On the bottom, and from the logo there, it's a Starbucks. So another one, the lease isn't secure, but again, that's looking very promising. And you can see on the bottom right the outdoor dining area from this view. So we're very happy with how this has developed. This next slide is just to show you, this is the same thing. This is Sprouts, so the official name Sprouts Farmers Market. On the left, you'll see the inside, all the rows, the various, the bakeries and deli counter and seafood and meat. And on the right is just a more general view, so you can see how the trucks load. And I'm gonna just go back to the site plan. So you can see building 1, how there is a entrance, so trucks can kind of go in and out and go into the loading dock area. And then we'll go back to this view, and you can see that the trash enclosure and the recyclables and the organic waste would be concealed from the back. And this is kind of a lot to take in with this view, but just the point of this is to show you the varied materials, colors, all that went into this project. So again, we do see some developers that come in and propose a single color, very plain. They just want to apply stucco to the outside, and we usually don't go for it. But this is the opposite. So we've worked with the applicant to have a really nice product with a lot of varied materials that that coordinate very well. Now, I'll kind of walk through each of the applications. So as far as the zone change, again, this zone came about in 1987, very specific to work with Lindsay Lumber to make sure they stayed in town, and it did make sense at that time. But now you can't have a Sprouts with a lumber mill designation. So this is actually 2 slides. We'll walk you through what is possible, some with a conditional use permit, some with just permitted by right. And this is alphabetical order, so if it seems kind of like a strange order, it's alphabetical. So first, alcoholic beverage sales for consumption off premises, that's possible with a conditional use permit, and that fits into a market like Sprouts that does sell alcohol to be consumed somewhere else. Second, any establishment offering alcoholic beverages for sale for consumption on the premises, and that's possible with a conditional use permit. I have heard of there may be some Starbucks locations that offer alcoholic beverages, or maybe down the road some other type of business that would propose the same. So that's an option. It's a possibility that would have to come to the Planning Commission through a public hearing. And then ATMs, if they're connected with the market, you would not need a conditional use permit. They're possible. The next category is drive-through establishments of any kind. So any drive-through would take a CUP. And the next is exterior display of merchandise. So storage outside, and I understand Sprouts, that's fairly typical. So you want to have that reviewed by the Planning Commission, so you don't have sales throughout a parking lot. You just want to have a very precise area. So that's a possibility. Next, back to ATM. So if ATM were to be a freestanding, like a little kiosk, one of those old photomat types, that would take a conditional use permit, because we have to do more thought into the traffic and circulation, that kind of thing. So various types of restaurants, bakeries, coffee shops, quick serve food uses, fast casual food uses, takeout food service, or other such retail food, would require a conditional use permit. You may notice the words fast food restaurant is not in there, and that was very calculated, I guess you could say. So to not have say a McDonald's, but to have something of a higher caliber that would fit into fast casual or quick serve, maybe something like the Panera Bread, for example, or Panda Express, or what we have at our Clearwater Crossing at the northeast of Paramount and Alondra. Retail kiosk, if we wanted to have some type of vendor with, there's one by Northgate you might be familiar with, just a small little kiosk. That could be possible, but with a conditional use permit. And then by right, without going to the Planning Commission, a specialty food store and supermarket, which is what's kind of happening this evening. The next portion is the tentative parcel map. And this is the item where you subdivide the property. This application, we're recommending more time because the fire department comments are not in yet, and that's essential. When the fire department land use development unit of the fire prevention, they comment, they want the city to incorporate those comments into the either the conditions of approval or the map itself. So we need a little more time. So we're recommending continuing to September, opening the public hearing and continuing. So onto the conditional use permit portion. So this is basically for the restaurants, for the drive-throughs and the seating. And you can see it's the circled areas, just as a reminder. And so the building at the north, the 2-suite building, includes tenant A, shown with the elevations as Panera Bread, and then the undetermined business tenant B. Panera Bread is asking for 60 inside seats and 20 outdoor seats, along with a 12-vehicle queue drive-through. And then the co-tenant is proposing 22 indoor seats and 6 outdoor seats. And I should add that there was a complete study, traffic analysis that factors in traffic and circulation for the drive-through. So 12Q and the 16Q for the following bullet point you'll see for the Starbucks. That is a lot more than what we have approved in the past for other drive-throughs. So it's important to have that number based on our analysis. The proposed Starbucks, again, the proposed Starbucks at the south, they propose 28 indoor seats and 12 outdoor, and the 16 vehicle drive-through. Zooming in, so here's the north part. So at the top, running east and west, that's Somerset, and you can see the 12 vehicles, and they're standard size. There's so they would order. There's a menu board, and it gives space for queuing and ordering and preparation, and just gonna drive out. Oops. I also would like to point out it's kind of important that the trash, the bins. Okay, you have a trash bin, you have a recycle bin, and now you have the organic waste bin. It's following state law, and you have the patios at the front on the east side, and on to the south of the building, and then loading on the back. The south portion, labeled here Building 3, which had the Starbucks logo on the elevations. So you can see how the cars kind of wrap around the border of this area, and they split off. They fork off into at the end for a total of 16 cars. 16 cars. And of course, there would be conditions of approval recommended for the menu board. You want to have a dimmer so it doesn't disturb folks, and make sure that the intercom is not too loud and it's adjustable. Sustainability. So Paramount is all on board with environmental sustainability. This has been kind of the name of the game since about 2016, 2017. We have a climate action plan. The city council adopted a climate action plan, which is kind of our roadmap to reducing greenhouse gases and being sustainable. So just wanted to highlight some of the items for this project. I mentioned rooftop solar on all buildings, including battery storage to store the power. 4 parking stalls with electric vehicle charging stations. 2 will be charging capable for the future, basically wired up and ready to go. Just pop in the chargers. Bike racks, bike lockers at each building. Low water use fixtures, drip irrigation. I should mention, so I did mention the landscaping will be totally redone, but they will be also drought tolerant to the satisfaction of the city council. Is very particular on the type of drought tolerant landscaping, so we'll make sure that you want it to be nice. Project they'll recycle. This is very important for we're running out of landfill space, so you have to do something with the debris from the demolition. So at least 65% has to be recycled or salvaged. And as the businesses operate into the future, you'll find a grease separation, mixed food waste recycling, and recycling bins at each building. So continue our tradition of being green, a green city. Environmental analysis. So the applicant and the city, the firm that conducted the initial study and in the end mitigated negative declaration is Terra Nova Planning and Research, and they did that the study in accordance with CEQA, the California Environmental Quality Act, looking at all the issue areas, biological resources, aesthetics, greenhouse gas, tribal or cultural resources, tribal resources. And they're in the end, they're determining that the project would not result in any significant impacts on the environment with mitigations. And those mitigation measures are related to geology and soils, 1, and 2, tribal cultural resources. Regarding geology and soils, there would be project-specific geotechnical investigations. And then second, maybe a little more background on, so the state of California requires projects of this scope and through this process for the city to consult with the local tribes representing this area, the indigenous people. So the city did, or actually, the city initiated that process. There are 12 tribes representing this area, and 2 had returned with comments. Consultation is not concluded yet. We're almost there. It will have to be concluded for this to move to the city council. And one requirement is to retain a Native American monitor before starting ground disturbing activities. So before groundbreaking, there is a process if there are tribal cultural resource objects, which are objects that are meaningful to the tribes. There's a process for contacting them. And number 2, human remains. That doesn't happen very often, but it can happen. So they would, the contractors would have to have a process to stop the project and contact the tribes. So with that, we are recommending approval. The city is very excited. The city posted on social media from the city account a welcome, Starbucks is coming in 2026. And it has been the highest, we have the highest number of posts or shares and views of any other social media post in city history. So it's what the people want. This is giving the Paramount community what they need. It's very, very much fulfilling an itch. So with that, we're recommending approval, and there's 4 actions. 1, recommending that the city council adopt a mitigated negative declaration and approve a mitigation monitoring and reporting program. Number 2, to adopt resolution number 24023, approving zone change number 244, recommending that the city council adopt an ordinance to replace ordinance number 560, zone change number 92, changing the official zoning map from PDPS lumberyard to PDPS commercial to allow a supermarket and 3 restaurants. Third is the recommendation to continue the tentative parcel map to September 7, the Planning Commission meeting. And 4th, to adopt resolution number PC 24024, approving conditional use permit number 939, subject to conditions of approval that are included in the resolution. And then we'll follow this with the Development Review Board later on. So that I'm happy to answer any questions, and we have the applicant team in the audience as well.
Okay, very good, thank you. Well, we'll open the public hearing portion for this agenda item. Do we have any testimony tonight, John?
We do not.
No testimony. Okay, then we will need a motion to close the public hearing portion. Motion to close. Second, been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Esparza? Commissioner Moody? Vice Chair Timmons? Chair Weisenberger?
Yes. Okay, then, let's see here. We'll entertain a motion here to recommend to the city council to adopt the mitigated negative declaration and the mitigation monitoring and reporting program relative to the zone change number 224, conditional use permit number 939, and the tentative parcel map number 084335. This is the first part. We have a motion for that?
Timmons, so moved.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Esparza? Commissioner Moody? Vice Chair Timmons?
Yes.
Chair Weisenberger?
Yes. Okay, then we will move now to Part A, which is the zone change number 224. We've already heard about it, so we'd like to entertain a motion here to adopt Planning Commission Resolution number 24023. This is to change the official zoning map so that we can allow the supermarket and 3 restaurants. Okay, do we have a motion on that?
Timmons, so moved.
Okay, been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Esparza? Commissioner Moody? Vice Chair Timmons?
Yes.
Chair Weisenberger?
Yes. Okay, Part B. We're going to, this is the tentative parcel map number 084335 from Paramount Gateway LLC. We'll open the public hearing portion, and then we need a motion to continue the public hearing until September 4th meeting, 2024. So do we have a motion there for that one?
I'll make a motion for that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Esparza? Commissioner Moody? Vice Chair Timmons?
Yes.
Chair Weisenberger?
Yes. Okay, and then the final portion of this is the conditional use permit number 939. And again, we've already heard about it. And this is a motion to adopt Planning Commission Resolution 24024 to operate 2 restaurants, each with a drive-through and indoor and outdoor seating, and a 3rd restaurant with indoor and outdoor seating at that Paramount Boulevard location. Okay, we have a motion there.
I'll have a motion on that.
Okay, very good. It's been moved. We have a second?
Timmons second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, and then roll call, please.
Commissioner Esparza? Commissioner Moody? Vice Chair Timmons?
Yes.
Chair Weisenberger?
Yes. Okay, very good. Moving along then, we will come now to conditional use permit number 967. This is a request by Community Medicine Incorporated, also known as Community Dental Center, to operate a nonprofit community dental center at 8540 Alondra Boulevard in suites B4 and B5 in the planned development with performance standard zone. This project is a Class 1 existing facilities exemption, categorical exemption pursuant to Article 19, Section 15301 of the CEQA guidelines. Okay, we have a report for this?
Yes. So this is a proposal for, we'll call it the Stater Brothers Shopping Center. It's not on the same property, but there's a joint agreement, and it's, you know, it's a cohesive site that Assistant Planner Leslie Corrales will get into more detail about.
Good evening, Honorable Chair, members of the Commission. Today I'll be presenting conditional use permit number 967 for Community Dental Center. And this is a request to operate a nonprofit dental clinic. The address is 8540 Alondra Boulevard, Suite B4 and B5. The zone is PDPS, Plan Development with Performance Standards. The site size is 30,186 square feet. The building size is 7,551 square feet. And the suite size of both B4 and B5 that the dental clinic will be operating from is 2,556 square feet. And so here's the subject site of where the dental clinic will be located. It's at the southeast corner of Downey and Alondra at what we would consider the Paramount Plaza. So as you can see, the property line is outlined in red. So we do see the Stater Brothers Market, the Asian Star Buffet, and the other building towards the west side. But it is its own property, and highlighted in yellow is the Community Dental Center. So a bit of background on this suite is that the previous tenant, the business was previously leased to Omni Video, which we know was there for many, many years. However, they no longer occupy the suite. Currently, in August 2024, Community Dental Center is requesting approval to occupy both suites, B4 and B5. Their hours of operation are Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sunday they will be closed. They will have a total of 10 employees, and some services provided are dental exams, CT scans, teeth cleanings, cavity fillings, tooth extractions, and tooth replacements. I do want to mention that no oral surgeries are proposed for this location. And here is the parking analysis that we did for this property. So like John mentioned earlier, there is a joint use agreement for the Paramount Plaza area. And so we have the Stater Brothers Market, and they require 196 parking spaces. The Asian Star Buffet requires 67 parking spaces. 8540 Alondra Boulevard, so this is where the dental clinic is being proposed, requires 29 spaces. And this is including the dental clinic being there, which on its own only requires 4 parking spaces. And 15920 Downey, this is where the Alondra Quick Check is at, only requires 24 spaces. During our study, we found that the total amount of parking spaces in this entire area is 323, and the spaces required for all businesses is 316, including the community dental clinic. So this is significant. We have more than enough on this property. And here is the site plan. As you can see, again, we have the Stater Brothers to the east, Asian Star Buffet to the north. The property line is in yellow, and the green outline is the proposed double suite. Here is the proposed floor plan. As you can see, the main entry is towards the north. We have a waiting room. We have our treatment rooms as well, or actually we have 5 treatment rooms, consultation rooms. Right in the middle, we have our staff back break room towards the left, and in the back we have, towards the rear, we have the lab, patient restroom, storage, janitor, and exit. Here is an existing photo of what the building currently looks like. As you can see, Omni Video does already take up 2 suites that the dental clinic is looking to operate from. To the left, we have the beauty supply store, and the areas next to the beauty supply store is actually a shoe repair store and a medical clinic that is actually owned by the same applicant. And to the right, we have the Treasure Pot Thai restaurant. And of course, as you can see, it does need some refurbishment. So we'll be touching up some of the conditions that we're requiring is touching up any wall stains, broken exterior lights, cleaning and painting any graffiti and loose wires, and anything that might be applicable that we've seen. So our analysis is that the subject dental office is located in the correct zone and it's compatible with the surrounding businesses in the area, and it's also adequate in size and location. And we recommend adopting resolution number 24026 for conditional use permit number 967. I'm more than happy to answer any questions, and our applicant is in the room as well in case you have any questions for him as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have any questions here from our group?
I have a question regarding the parking spaces. Did they say how many parking spaces?
I think it was only 4, yeah.
Only 4?
Only 4 for the dental clinic, is that right? Leslie?
Yes, 4 for the dental clinic.
Only 4.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I thought.
But there was 24, I think, in that general area. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so our conditions typically follow the exterior of the building. So any light fixtures that might be loose or broken, loose wiring. The parking spaces will be repainted as they're a little faded over time. Any repainting that might be needed, graffiti will be removed by the applicant. So anything that requires from the outside will be applied. Well, yes. Well, at least the majority of the building. Yeah, at least for their suite, they have to at least comply. But if you want to jump in for this part.
Yes. I guess the correct term is nexus. You have to have a specific correlation between the proposed condition and the applicant and their suite. So it may be a little much to require the entire building to be repainted. So our minimum requirement is for their specific suite. But that doesn't stop us from contacting the property owner and really encouraging them. So if you're going to be painting this suite, it's, when you do that, you might make the other areas look even worse. So you do want that parity. So I think Assistant Planner Corrales, she'll be contacting the property owner to along with the applicant and see what we could do. Yeah. Yes. That's definitely true.
Okay, then let's open the public hearing portion for this item. Have we got any public hearings or any comments? I'm sorry.
We have no comments.
Okay, no testimony. All right, then, let's make a motion to close the public hearing portion. Okay. All right, been moved and second. A roll call, please.
Commissioner Esparza, Commissioner Moody, Vice Chair Timmons, Chair Weisenberger.
Yes. Okay, then we need to consider a motion then to adopt Planning Commission Resolution number 24026 to approve this request to operate the nonprofit dental clinic at this location, the Stater Brothers area. All right, it's been moved and seconded.
Commissioner Esparza, Commissioner Moody, Vice Chair Timmons, Chair Weisenberger.
Yes. Okay, agenda item number 6. Oh, yes, sir. Okay, you can press that button there so we can hear you.
Okay, so my name is Habib Hashmani. I'm the CEO for Community Medicine and Community Dental. And very rightly you said that when you kind of facelifting our portion, the sites will really should also look very similar, or at least nice. We also wanted to propose that now we all are talking about green energy. I'm willing to invest in the solar system also on the building, but I would need your support. If we can speak to the landlord, they can at least allow me to do that. I'm not asking them to invest anything. I'll take that charge. They can help me with the improve the fascia of the building, but solar and all, I'm willing to do it if they do that. So this was just a request.
Very nice. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Yeah, very nice. I'm sure to move ahead on that, you'd probably have to contact Mr. King
Yes.
with the solar and all that. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Okay, so agenda item number 6. This is a tentative parcel map number 083782. It's a request by Antonio Montalvo to create 2 lots from one lot, that is 16,175 square foot lot at 7314 Cortlandt Avenue in the R1, which is single family residential zone. And this project is a class 15 categorical exemption pursuant to Article 19, Section 15.315 of the CEQA guidelines. Okay, and Commissioner Esparza is going to recuse himself from this. Go have some chicken. Okay, do we have a staff report on this one, John?
We do. This will be from Associate Planner Ivan Reyes, who will explain how it's very procedural. This property has enough area by the code to be divided into 2 parcels of the same size. So, Mr. Reyes?
Thank you, John.
Yes.
Good evening, Honorable Chair, members of the Commission. This is a request to essentially split one huge lot into 2 equally parcels. So the parcel itself measures 14,175. That's the existing square footage. And it will be split into 2 equal, measuring 7,087.5 square feet. So the property address, 7314 Cortlandt Avenue. It's located in the R1 single family zone. So just to give you some background on this, the way this works, the subdivision is reviewed under 2 types of regulations. The first, the California Subdivision Map Act, and then the second with the Paramount Municipal Code, so Title 16, which covers the subdivision and other divisions of land. So before you tonight is the tentative parcel map with the recommended approval with the Planning Commission. It then eventually gets finalized, the final map, with the City Council. That will make it official. So here's a satellite view of the subject site at 7314 Cortlandt. As you can see, the property line indicated in yellow highlights the whole parcel. It's on the northeast side of town, so it's borderline with Paramount and Southgate. And I do want to point out that any boundary or any city property line would not be affected by this. So just zooming in on the property itself, this is how it currently measures. So it's 105 feet in width, street width, off of Cortlandt Avenue with a depth of 135 feet. And administratively, the planning department has reviewed and approved a a 1,381 square foot single family residence. So that's on the east side of the property with an attached garage. And then in addition to that, there was also a 1,000 square foot ADU detached. So the applicant strategically like placed this on the east side of the property in anticipation of this application here. The detached garage on the west side of the property, that's an old garage that was for the existing property before any of these new construction was built. So that will remain the same. So the changes here would be to subdivide it with a new property line right down the middle. The new street widths off of Cortland would now be 52.5 feet in width for each property. And as you can see on the bottom left, the property detail, they will each measure 7,087.5 square feet. So the detached garage will remain as is until there's some future development that gets proposed here. So for the analysis, the proposed map is consistent with the applicable plan. The site is physically suitable for the type of future development. And then lastly, a final parcel map shall be prepared by or under the direction of a registered civil engineer or licensed land surveyor. So with that, the recommended action is for the Planning Commission to adopt resolution number PC 24022, approving tentative parcel map number 083782. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from commissioners? I'm not sure. Is the owner here tonight?
Yeah, we do have the applicant,
Yes, sir.
not necessarily the owner, but the applicant partner.
Yes. Hi, how are you doing? Armando?
Armando for coming.
Great, and yourself?
Great, thank you. I just have a question for you.
Sure.
On the portion that you're dividing and you don't have a proposed building structure, do you have a plan for that?
I have a plan to do probably the same thing that's done in the other lot. Those are our intentions, to do the exact same thing, so it could be equivalent.
Commissioner Moody, any questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time. Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, have we opened the public hearing portion of this? We have any testimony tonight, John?
No, we do not.
Okay, no testimony. So we need a motion then to close the public hearing portion. Okay, moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Moody? Vice Chair Timmons? Chair Weisenberg?
Yes. Okay, then we need to consider a motion to adopt Planning Commission Resolution 24022, approving this request to create two lots from one lot on Cortland Avenue. We have a motion for that. Okay, we have moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Moody? Vice Chair Timmons? Chair Weisenberg?
Yes. Okay, very good. Okay, so we can bring Commissioner Esparza. Sure he wipes his hands with chicken grease. Thank you, John. Okay, so now we'll move on to agenda item number 7, zoning ordinance text amendment number 34. And this is making a recommendation for the city council of the city of Paramount to approve an ordinance revising regulations for manufacturing businesses citywide in the M1 and M2 zones. This project is exempt from CEQA pursuant to CEQA guidelines, Section 15305. minor alterations in land use, and section 15061B3, which is the general rule that CEQA applies only to projects which have the potential for causing a significant effect on the environment. And CEQA does not apply where it can be seen with certainty that there is no possibility that the activity may have a significant effect on the environment. Okay, we have a staff report for this one, John?
We do. So this goes back to our changes from 2018 regarding back to environmental sustainability and manufacturing businesses here in town, metal manufacturing. So part of 2018, the City Council adopted some regulations following a Planning Commission recommendation about, well, a number of things, but one big thing was transparency, about opening their doors or having informational sessions for what they do, so the general public can learn more about these business operations. We've done that for a few years, and we just have some thoughts on how to improve those requirements and a couple other requirements. And Associate Planner Ivan Reyes will give the presentation.
Thank you, John. Good evening, Honorable Chair, members of the Commission. So this request is for the Planning Commission to recommend to the City Council on approving ZOTA number 34. So this is revising the regulations in the both M1, M2, so that's light manufacturing and heavy manufacturing. And I'd like to point your attention to the zoning map. This is the current zoning map. As you can see, the blue and the light blue, pretty much in the heart of Paramount, is where these uses are allowed. So most of these uses are here in the M1 and M2. As you can see, there's surrounding residential properties outside of that. And also there's a couple of residential properties within the M1 and the M2. Those are legal non-conforming. So they're spread out throughout. So this would essentially affect these businesses. But with regards to the metal manufacturing business that I will review in this presentation. So just to give you some background, as John mentioned, the City Council adopted ordinance number 1106. So this was ZOTA number 8. These were revisions to permitted uses. So essentially, there was a lot of uses that were permitted by right, which became a little bit more restrictive in terms of a conditional use permit will now be required. So we have more to see what these businesses were coming in. At the same time, some of these uses were actually prohibited, like the storage of trucks, for example, is no longer allowed. So those businesses or uses will no longer favored here. In addition to that, performance standards for metal manufacturing businesses were also established. If you go back just a little bit further before this date, 2016, 2017, there was a hexchrome, reported hexchrome in the area. So the city, along with the businesses, took immediate action on ensuring that all of that gets taken care of. So this is where it's sort of guided to where we are. This is the start of all the changes. So then in 2022, we saw some of those changes that happened were the city was hosting public informational sessions with the participating metal manufacturing businesses as part of the requirements to attend. So there were 16 metal manufacturing businesses that had permits with the South Coast Air Quality Management District. So those participating metal manufacturing businesses were required for transparency purposes to host an open house informational session to the public. So this happened on a yearly basis. It started with us hosting these businesses, gathering around in our city facilities to ensure that there's a transparency and conversation with the residents, essentially the community that were essentially caught in the middle of all of this. So 2022 was a big milestone where we set those public hearings, those public notices. I mean, so looking back today, actually, in 2024, these are sort of the goals that we have in mind for environmental sustainability, the public safety aspect of it, and most importantly, to ensure the health and well-being of the residents who live near these businesses or the surrounding areas. So to give you just a briefing on the public tours, it was to increase transparency It was to promote healthy discussion between the residents and the businesses. Essentially, the residents were able to go up to these businesses and essentially just have a conversation on what their operations were. So this was a way to alert the community to the possible changes in the operations, if there's anything that has changed since then, since 2018. This was a good conversation starter. And just to give you an idea of how it was essentially marketed, on the left-hand side, you have a social media posting of a flyer for this event. So this is from this year on March 27th. This was some of the bigger name businesses were Press Forge, Carlton Forge, and Aerocraft. So they were in participation to essentially have that conversation with the residents. And then on the right-hand side, we have the photos of how that looked like. So there was a roundtable sort of type of setup where all the businesses had their own booth, they had their own sign, and the public would just go up to them and sort of just ask any questions. Some of these businesses also brought samples. I know a lot of them are under government contracts, so they don't necessarily share too much, but just whatever the public could see. So the top photo there is from 2022, and then the bottom photos there, that's from the event from this year. We actually just had an event last month. So that was, again, finishing up all those participating metal manufacturing businesses. So for the proposed revisions, so this is just a summary of the proposed revisions here. So it will revise the M1, a section of the M1, so 17.32, and M2, 17.36 chapters of the Paramount Municipal Code. And just to give you a bird's eye view of what that is, revising the dates of the public tour. So these were on a year-by-year basis. So now due to the public participation and essentially where we're at this point, that would be spread out to a 2 to 6 year basis. Clarifying on-site posting requirements for public notice boards. So now we have a baseline of what those notices should look like in the event that these businesses decide to change their operations, decide to change what they're doing, or if they're adding anything. Now we have a clear just requirements for that posting. And then also just looking ahead to what's happening now, establishing digital media presentation standards. There will be guidelines and options for these businesses to provide a digital media presentation. Essentially what would happen at the open house, they'll kind of elaborate on their environmental sustainability, their quality assurance, their history of the business. So we have that in lieu of the open houses as an option that the planning department will review before any official digital media is actually presented to the public. So we'll have a better handle on what they're putting out before it gets shared. So these are just some of the changes that will happen specifically to the metal manufacturing businesses. And lastly, the city attorney has reviewed and approved the proposed changes reflected in this ordinance. So with that, it's the recommended action. It's that the Planning Commission adopt resolution number PC 24029, recommending that the City Council approve zoning ordinance text amendment number 34. So this concludes my presentation, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
I have a question regarding the. You said that they're considering having public tours of their facilities. Is that right?
Yes, so that was something that was done in the past with staff, that we went out to the tours, to the facilities themselves. Essentially what these public tours, the way that we did was kind of going back to the open house, was instead of going, because there's a lot of liability with some of these businesses where they have to wear safety goggles, certain boots and everything like that. So it was easier for them to kind of host it in our facilities. Essentially explaining what they do in the operations.
Okay. So it's not really an on-site tour. I know we got to go to World Energy one time, and yeah, we had special suits and hats and all that kind of stuff. But I was just wondering if that was the same type of thing with the metal companies, but they're going to do it like you see here on the picture, huh?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Yeah. All right.
There's 16. Yeah, these were the three that I highlighted were just the bigger ones, but there's other companies that were part of it too.
And I could add, there have been two companies that did open the doors to the general public. Weber Metals, they have said they can make arrangements on an individual basis, but on a particular, just open the doors to anybody who wants to come in. Ace Clearwater Enterprises on Garfield and near Quimby, and the second is Anaplex Corporation on Garfield. So in coordination with, there's a National Manufacturing Day every October. So they've had basically mostly school children to come by and get an idea of what it's like and to promote the industry because they need the workers. So there have been those two.
I know Weber Metals owned their facility once before. It's really interesting, so maybe if there's a opportunity for us to do that, that would be great. But I know they did once before. They showed how they build their contraptions and whatever metal stuff that they use. They made an LA sign for me that I still have.
Okay, well, let's open the public hearing portion. And any testimony tonight, John?
No testimony or request for testimony. Excuse me.
Then let's close the public hearing portion. We need a motion to close. Been moved. We have a second? Okay, moved and seconded to close the public hearing portion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Esparza? Commissioner Moody? Vice Chair Timmons? Chair Weisenberger?
Yes. Okay, now, we need to consider a motion then to adopt this planning commission resolution 24029 and, excuse me, recommending that the city council approve this zoning ordinance revising the regulations for manufacturing businesses citywide. We have a motion for that. I'll make a motion. Been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Esparza? Commissioner Moody? Vice Chair Timmons? Chair Weisenberger?
Yes. Okay, agenda item number 8, oral reports, city council actions.
Yes, maybe just a couple. A few weeks back, I think it was the first meeting of July of the City Council, they reviewed our proposed or in progress commercial design guidelines. So we've had on the books since the 1980s, I think it's called the Central Business District Architectural Guidelines. And it really did, at the time and a few years after, guide the redevelopment of this kind of downtown area and beyond. So that's where you see the the red tile roof look and kind of the Spanish Mediterranean look on the commercial side. As you're aware, since then, tastes have kind of changed, and so we've veered a little from that blueprint. Horchateria Rio Luna is one example. Clearwater Crossing at Paramount and Alondra. Number of other improvements the Northgate remodel a few years ago. So kind of up and down. It's more of a modern contemporary type of an architecture. So we gave an update to the city council of our project underway to update those guidelines, bring them more into the present, and take in city council input. So I think we'll be coming back to you for your input as well, of course. So that's one. And the second was the city council adopted a host fee agreement basically with Athens. So a new agreement that ties into the conditional use permit that you approved. It was contingent upon approval of the conditional use permit. So with that, we have a few things going on with Athens. Their waste agreement, their conditional use permit and going into the future, and now a host fee agreement, which involves funds related to them operating out of Paramount. And that concludes my report.
Okay. John, I got a question. I noticed the other day that there's a signal there at the intersection of Garfield and at Pedersen Lane, I believe it is. Is that a new signal, or do you know?
It has been there for some time. It has been. That, as you're mentioning that, part of the requirements for the upgrade to Athens as they go through their phases would be to do further upgrades to the intersection, including some turn lanes. So, but that particular signal that you see has been there.
Okay, I just happened to notice it. Maybe it was green before, but it was a red one.
It usually is green.
How long's this been here? You know? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Then let's go to number 9. Comments now. Any comments from our city attorney? Sitting in. Commissioners. Comments from our commissioners. That's a good question.
Yes. So, building and safety manager Rick Baptista and I, we do have a call. We're going to call the tenant, Tierra Mia Coffee, tomorrow. Apparently, there's some miscommunication between the tenant and the landlord, I'm hearing, and a lot of this has to do with Edison. So they're at the final stages, landscapes in, the parking lot's in, trash enclosures in, but they're having some issues with Southern California Edison. And I think Rick's going to help work his magic to get this to the finish line a little faster.
Yeah, I'll say. All right. Any comments from our staff?
Do have a few announcements. Yes. So, say 4 announcements. Well, I want to acknowledge a couple staffing changes, first of all. Leslie Cross, I mentioned assistant planner. That's her new title. So Leslie, she was our intern for about a year, and she's now promoted. She has been promoted, was it about a week and a half ago, to assistant planner, a full-time position, which is really exciting. We need the help. We need the help. We put it out to the world to see who applied. Leslie topped them all. It was over, what do we say, 130 or so applications, and she reigned supreme. So very excited. Well, I just want to read a few things about Leslie. So there was an introduction when she first started, but just a refresher. She was born and raised in the city of Paramount, graduated from Paramount High School. So she's, a true, yes, once a pirate. Leslie received her bachelor's degree in geography with a minor in international studies from Cal State Long Beach in 2023. Her professional experience ranges from community and economic development and sustainability research, of course, helping our residents here and throughout the county. In her free time on the personal side, Leslie enjoys going to concerts, hiking, and trying new coffee shops. So speaking of coffee, she's waiting too.
Congratulations.
So-
Yeah, very good, very good. Mhm.
And then second, so I think a lot of you know Rick, Ricardo, or Rick Baptista. Rick has been with the city since, I think, 2005? 2006. It just flies by, so almost 20 years. So a little background on Rick. So Rick was our longtime building inspector, and he does it all. He does all the types of inspections. So now he's the building and safety manager. You remember that Johnny moved on to another job. Rick was born in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. He migrated with his family to the U.S. in 1980. He ended up at Lawndale High School here in Lawndale, here in Southern California. He furthered his studies at El Camino College with mechanical drafting courses and Saddleback College, and also taking geography. His professional experience consists of a career in construction, in the construction industry, and he showed us pictures of masonry. This is some amazing product through the years. He can show you photos based on, but he knows the trades, all the construction methods and applications. Again, worked here 19 years. So he's a licensed masonry contractor, an ICC certified building inspector. He's required to keep his credits up and certifications. So I don't know if you know that they have this ongoing education, which is amazing. I could barely know the difference between a galvanized nail and there's this type of screw, and yeah. And on his free time, again on the personal side, Rick has made a music video. So this is really amazing. If you haven't seen that, talk to Rick or talk to me, and we'll get you like it's a real professionally done music video. So he enjoys songwriting, playing music, creating music and videos, golfing, fishing, and spending quality time with his lovely wife Angelica. Yes.
I like to write bossa nova.
For the record.
I do some bossa nova music, but I also am a country music lover. So I write some country music, but my passion is more in the Brazilian bossa nova. Yeah, Portuguese, jazzy.
So we say jack of all construction trades, jack of all types of music. And then the two, there's a little bittersweet. I think you've heard about our retirement. So we're very, very happy for well, first of all, Valerie Zaragoza. She's been with the city since the late 1990s, and she worked previously with the county, so she has a long record of professionalism as a public servant. She is the epitome of public service. I've worked with her personally since 2005, and I always say that she was the best in the business, and she had a very high standard. So I think some of you saw her on her way out. Today was honestly, she's on the books. She'll be on the books, an employee for about another week, but she's gone. she's gonna enjoy. So what I asked her, what are you gonna do? She has her RV. She's gonna be kind of sailing out on her adventures on her RV, making jewelry, setting up on Etsy. That's where you can sell your wares. So she's very creative. She has the left brain and the right brain thing going on. She could do it all. So very, very happy for Valerie and her public service. And then the legend, John Carver, our planning director. So he's not here this evening. He has been working for Paramount. He started as an intern himself, so he worked his way up to director. Very, very amazing. And so that's actually 34 years of service with the city of Paramount. He has probably been on more private properties and homes and businesses than anyone in the history of Paramount. He's done inspections. I should have taken account of the number of conditional use permit applications that he reviewed through his time and all the applications. So he's our department hero, and what's he going to do? He's going to adopt a dog, do some volunteer work, and do some travel. He has a lot of wonderful travel plans. So those are my announcements, and we'll try our best to fill those shoes. I did not mention that. Okay. So in the meantime, John King, I'm the interim planning director, and so if you have any questions at all, I'll definitely be seeing you at the Commissioner's Barbecue. I'm your facilitator or conduit to John Moreno. I'm sure some of you call him directly, but any concerns, you could talk to me. And also Biana. Biana is, as I mentioned, I'm calling her the acting administrative assistant. So between the two of us, we'll take care of you. Thank you. Oh, well, she did. Betsy's very modest, but.
You have another interim, as you know, John Kavanaugh. John King said that he gave his retirement speech at the Planning Commission. He retired officially on August 1st, and I'm the interim city attorney until a new city attorney is chosen.
All right, very good. Well, thank you for all those updates, John, and congratulations to our promoted city employees. Thank you. Wonderful. Yeah. All right, well, I guess that's it then. So we're going to adjourn, and our next meeting will be September 4th, 2024 at 6 p.m.
Board Member Esparza? Here. Board Member Gonzalez? Board Member Weisenberger?
Here.
Vice Chair Moody? Here. Chair Timmons?
So moved.
Board Member Esparza? Board Member Weisenberger?
Yes.
Vice Chair Moody? Chair Timmons?
Okay, I'll move to approve.
Board Member Esparza? Board Member Weisenberger?
Yes.
Vice Chair Moody? Chair Timmons? All right. So,
Yes, for the reorganization. Again, I'll pass this over to Biana.
all right, now nominations are open for the Development Review Board Chair. Are there any nominations?
You,
Any more nominations? Okay, nominations are now closed. When called, please indicate your choice for chair by stating the last name of the board member you wish to vote for. Okay. Board Member Sparza? Board Member Moody? Board Member Timmons? Board Member Weisenberger?
Moody.
All right. Would you like to open the nominations for vice chair? Congratulations, chair, by the way, Mr. Moody.
Congratulations.
Yes. Okay. All right, so nominations are open for vice chair. Are there any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Esparza.
Any more nominations? Okay, nominations are now closed. When called, please indicate your choice for vice chair by stating the last name of the board member you wish to vote for. Board Member Sparza? Board Member Moody? Board Member Timmons? Board Member Weisenberger?
Esparza.
All right, congratulations, Vice Chair Esparza.
Congratulations. Okay, yep, David, number 3.
Review application number 23-008, request by Paramount Gateway LLC to construct 3 commercial buildings, including a 23,104 square foot supermarket, 5,374 square foot 2-suite restaurant building with a drive-through, and a 2,400 square foot coffee shop with drive-through at 15101 Pembroke Boulevard with a PES plan development with performance standard zone.
Thanks. Well, this is the complementary design application, architectural and design and site review for what you've already heard as the Planning Commission members. So I'll leave it up to you. If you'd like a little more detail, we could bring back that presentation and go through some of the materials, or you could just, at your discretion, take it as you wish.
Open the public hearing.
David, you gotta go to page 4. Page 4 here on the yellow. Actually, number 3 on the yellow. Number 3 on the yellow. On the yellow tabs, number 3, the green page. Yellow tab number 3. No, you went one too far. There you go. So we've already heard the staff report. So now you're on number B, open the public hearing. Okay? Then go to C.
There are no comments. Yes.
Okay, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay. Board Member Timmons? Yes. Board Member Weisenberger?
Yes.
Vice Chair Esparza? Yes. Chair Moody?
Request by Paramount Gateway.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Board Member Timmons? Board Member Weisenberger?
Yes.
Vice Chair Esparza? Chair Moody?
Four comments. Any comments? Board members? Okay.
No comments.
Adjourn to the next meeting, September 4th, 6 p.m. So, let's see here. Javier, you got this now. Open the Paramount Economic Development Board.
Board Member Esparza? Board Member Timmons? Board Member Weisenberger?
Here.
Vice Chair Moody? Chair Gonzalez?
I'll make a motion to excuse.
Okay. Board Member Esparza? Board Member Timmons? Board Member Weisenberger?
Yes.
Vice Chair Moody?
Approval of minutes for July 3rd. Second.
Okay. Board Member Esparza? Board Member Timmons? Board Member Weisenberger?
Yes.
Vice Chair Moody? Reorganization.
Next reorganization, and I'll turn it over to our acting administrative assistant, Salgado.
Thank you. All right, so nominations are now open for the Chair, Office of Economic Development Review Board. Are there any nominations for Chair?
I'd like to recommend or nominate Commissioner Timmons.
Are there any other nominations? Nominations are now closed. When called, please indicate your choice for chair by stating the last name of the board member you wish to vote for. Board Member Esparza? Board Member Moody? Board Member Timmons? Board Member Weisenberger?
Timmons.
Congratulations, Chair Timmons. And, well, before we move on, we need a vice chair. Would you like to open, Chair Timmons?
She's in charge now. Yeah, I'll do it.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Gortmark as vice.
All right, are there any other nominations? Okay. All right, when called, please indicate your choice for vice chair by stating the last name of the board member you wish to vote for. Board Member Esparza? Board Member Moody? Board Member Timmons? Board Member Weisenberger?
Weisenberg.
Congratulations, Vice
Thank you.
Weisenberger. All right.
Now, public comments.
There are no public comments.
She takes over. She's the new chair. She's the new chair.
We're under new business now. Is there audit report?
There is. Well, just a very brief report. You'll notice that our management analyst Sol Bejarano is not present this evening. She did put together this report, and she did help continue the organization of a workshop, very valuable workshop for the business community. So I'll just get into that. Just kind of doing this in Sol's and Ms. Bejarano's place. As you know, the American Disabilities Act has a history, and it's been added to and modified through the years. I think it was President George H.W. Bush who signed it into law in about 1990 or so. And then we have some state law regarding accessibility. Now in the business community, if you talk to any small business owner or any business owner, they'll tell you they're all for helping out the disabled or doing what needs to be done. But because the law is ever changing, it makes it a little difficult. There's certain very specific laws about access that some business owners just do not know about. So the city is helping to bridge that gap. We do have a little bit of funds when businesses apply for a business license. There's a very small fee that's kind of tacked on that goes into a fund to support these types of programs. So we organized a workshop July 24th. We had an expert, so you can see the photo here, John Caparelli. He is a CASP. He's a Certified Accessibility Specialist, CASP. He conducted 2 workshops. One in the morning was for businesses, and one in the afternoon was for our staff. And here's some key points about laws that apply to businesses, what elements of business must be accessible. So if you have a very narrow spiral staircase that leads to a very small office, are you in trouble? Well, kind of turns out it just depends on what the use is and a number of other things. What's the potential liability? A lot of it comes down to liability. And what about the accessibility for outdoor dining? And that came up because more restaurants are interested in opening up their outdoor areas. So here's a little photo of the business portion in the morning and our speaker. And then in the afternoon, staff from our building and safety division and building inspectors, our code enforcement officers. I see our human resources manager was there, and from community services, our staff in charge of the senior center or the community center were present. So really important. It's things you don't really think about. How high a counter should be. How high should a dryer, a hand dryer in a restroom be? So things like that. Very, very specific details. And of course, all the businesses want to stay on top of that. So that's really it. Building and safety manager Rick Baptista is here. He has 20,000 more times of knowledge in this area than I do. And next steps, we will be using some of these funds to produce a recording, a video to put on the city website to help businesses in the long run. Thank you. I think that's a medical question.
Be a different doctor.
But that's really important. The Disabilities Act is very important. Make sure we might want to. Okay. Any other comments from the staff?
No comments from staff.
Okay, we will adjourn this meeting until September 4th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.